Live fully. Thrive in midlife.
Today, we're exploring how to build a retirement that's not just financially secure, but deeply fulfilling.
You know, we get all these tips about aging well, but they often feel kind of disconnected, right? A little diet advice here, an exercise tip there. So in this explainer, we're going to put it all together. We're creating a real, holistic playbook for a truly fulfilling life after 50, one that pulls together a sharp mind, emotional resilience, and a deep sense of purpose. I mean, this quote from Margaret Mead just hits the nail on the head. It perfectly captures the old, tired story that we are here to completely tear down. This idea that life has to follow this rigid three-act play of learn, then earn, and then what, just fade out? That model just doesn't work anymore. Frankly, it's just wrong. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to dismantle those old stereotypes and completely rewrite the rules. We're going to look at the evidence-based vision for what this chapter of life can really be. A time of incredible growth, a time for renewed purpose, and just genuine vitality. So where do we even begin rewriting this story? Well, you start with the foundation. We're going to kick things off with the practical, tangible tools you can use right now to protect your most important asset, your brain. So let's open up the Brain Health Playbook. Look, taking care of your brain, it's not some optional extra. It's the absolute core of living a long, full, and independent life. And the science on this is crystal clear. The habits we build right now can seriously slow down cognitive decline. And here's the best part. It is never too late to start. Okay, so when you break it down, the key habits for brain health really fall into three main buckets. First up is mental stimulation, things like reading, learning a new skill, doing puzzles. Then you've got physical health, which covers the absolute non-negotiables. Exercise, a healthy diet, and getting enough sleep. And finally, social connection, engaging with your friends, your family, your community. These aren't just separate to-do items. They are all vital, interconnected nutrients for your brain. Okay, so a sharp brain gives us the how, right? The ability to do things. But to really thrive, we also need to train our emotional core. That's the why. And this brings us to our next chapter on building inner resilience. And one of the most studied tools for doing it, mindfulness. So when we say mindfulness, what are we actually talking about? Because it's not about emptying your mind or anything like that. It's really a form of mental training. It teaches you to pay attention to the here and now, to just observe your thoughts and feelings without getting totally swept away by them. It's all about building a calmer, more centered inner world. And that is a totally fair question. I mean, with all the physical challenges or just logistical stuff that can come with getting older, is this type of training really practical? Is it even something people will stick with? Let's see what the research says. Well, the data gives us a really clear answer. A big, comprehensive review found the average dropout rate for these mindfulness programs among older adults was 23%. Now, that might sound like a lot at first, but get this. It's almost exactly the same as the rates we see in younger groups. So the takeaway here is huge. Mindfulness is absolutely just as feasible and well-received by older adults as it is by anyone else. So what does mindfulness actually do for you? Well, the evidence is rock solid for emotional well-being. Study after study shows it has a major effect on reducing things like anxiety, depression, and stress. On the other hand, the evidence for physical benefits, like boosting your immune system or lowering blood pressure, that's a bit more of a mixed bag. So the best way to think about it? It's an incredibly powerful tool for your mental and emotional health. All right, we've fortified the brain, we've centered the heart, now let's look outward. This next chapter of life isn't about retirement. It's about discovering your encore, a chance to take all that wisdom and experience you've built up and channel it into finding new purpose and meaning. I just love this quote from George Eliot. It so perfectly captures the spirit of this whole encore idea. It's a time for rediscovery, for maybe chasing those passions you had to put on the back burner, and for tapping into a potential that's been waiting for this exact moment. I mean, just take the incredible story of Cookie Rackley. After a heroic 25-year career as one of the very first female African-American firefighters in Tallahassee, she retired. But you know what? A life of leisure just wasn't for her. She took that same exact drive to serve and channeled it into a brand new encore as a caregiver, finding a whole new way to make a huge impact. Or how about Dawn Tarbutton? At 74 years old, he goes back to school to become a Buddhist chaplain. He finds this immense sense of fulfillment doing hospice work. And you gotta love this detail. He points out that the extra income means he can reinvest it, turning what could be a financial withdrawal into a new opportunity for growth. And listen, stories like Don's, they're not just heartwarming one-offs. They are part of a massive, massive trend. Get this. Today, a staggering 40% of all college students are over the age of 25. And the number of people between 40 and 64 pursuing higher ed, that's jumped by 20%. Lifelong learning is officially the new normal. So let's pull all of these threads together, shall we? We've talked about brain health, we've talked about inner resilience, and we've talked about finding purpose. These are not separate goals to just check off a list. They are deeply connected parts of a single, vibrant system for living an amazing life. Think of it like this. A sharp brain gives you the how, the cognitive power to engage with the world. Inner resilience gives you the why, the emotional stability to handle whatever comes your way. And a clear purpose gives you the what for. That's the motivation that gets you up and out of bed every single morning. And each one of these makes the other two stronger. This quote from the innovator Jan Hively, man, it just says it all, doesn't it? The ultimate goal is meaningful work, paid or unpaid, until the very last breath. It's not about stopping. It's about continuing to contribute, to create, and to find meaning in what you do, for as long as you possibly can. And that's the crucial thing to remember. Your entire lifetime of experience, all the successes, the failures, the wisdom you've gained, that's not an endpoint. It's not some history book to be put up on a shelf. It is your ultimate asset. It's your launch pad for whatever you decide to do next. Everything you are and everything you've done has brought you right here to this moment. The playbook is in your hands now. The real question is, what are you going to do next?
Live fully. Thrive in midlife.